Hey there, fellow soil enthusiasts. If you've found your way to this article, chances are you're staring at pepper plants that look absolutely gorgeous. Lush green foliage, healthy stems, maybe even some beautiful flowers, but when it comes to actual peppers, they're giving you the silent treatment. Trust me, I've been there more times than I'd like to admit, and it's one of the most frustrating experiences in gardening. After years of growing peppers in every conceivable condition, and helping countless gardeners troubleshoot their pepper problems here at Soilsage Chronicles, I've identified the key culprits behind this maddening mystery. Today, we're going to dig deep into the root causes of why your pepper plants might be all show and no harvest, and more importantly, how to fix it. Let's start with what I consider the #1 silent killer of pepper production: temperature stress. Peppers are incredibly finicky when it comes to temperature, and most gardeners don't realize just how narrow their comfort zone really is. Here's what most people don't know. Peppers need nighttime temperatures between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and daytime temperatures between 70 and 85 degrees for optimal fruit set. When temperatures climb above 90 degrees during the day, or drop below 55 at night, your pepper plants essentially shut down their reproductive systems. They'll keep growing leaves and looking healthy, but flower production stops, and any existing flowers will drop without setting fruit. I learned this lesson the hard way during a particularly brutal summer when my normally prolific poblano plants produced exactly 0 peppers, despite being the size of small bushes. The culprit? A week-long heat wave with temperatures consistently above 95 degrees. The plants were stressed, even though they looked fine on the surface. The solution isn't just about waiting for better weather. You can create microclimates using shade cloth during extreme heat. I use 30 to 40% shade cloth when temperatures soar. For cool nights, row covers or even old bed sheets can provide just enough protection to keep those critical nighttime temperatures in the sweet spot. This might surprise you, but one of the most common reasons pepper plants refuse to produce is actually too much care, specifically too much nitrogen. I see this constantly with well-meaning gardeners who think more fertilizer equals more peppers. Unfortunately, peppers don't work that way. When pepper plants receive excessive nitrogen, they become vegetative powerhouses, channeling all their energy into producing gorgeous dark green foliage at the expense of flowers and fruit. It's like they're too busy building their bodies to think about reproduction. Your plants might look like magazine-worthy specimens, but they'll be reproductive duds. The key is understanding that peppers need a balanced approach to nutrition. During the early growing phase, a moderate amount of nitrogen helps establish strong plants. But once flowering begins, you need to shift gears. I recommend switching to a fertilizer with lower nitrogen and higher phosphorus and potassium. Something like a 5-10-10 ratio works beautifully. Here's a pro tip from my years of experience. If your plants are deep green and lush but flowerless, stop fertilizing completely for 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes a little stress actually encourages pepper plants to focus on reproduction rather than growth. Even if your plants are flowering beautifully, you might still end up with no peppers if pollination isn't happening effectively. While peppers are self-pollinating, they still need some help to get the job done. And this is where many indoor growers and even outdoor gardeners hit roadblocks. The most obvious issue is lack of pollinators. If you're growing peppers indoors or in an area with few bees and beneficial insects, your flowers might be going unpollinated. But even outdoors, factors like pesticide use in your neighborhood, lack of diverse flowering plants nearby, or simply bad weather during flowering periods can reduce pollinator activity. Wind is actually pepper plants' best friend when it comes to pollination. In nature, gentle breezes shake the flowers just enough to release pollen and help it reach the pistil. If you're growing indoors or in a very sheltered location, you might need to become the wind. I gently shake my pepper plants or use a small paintbrush to transfer pollen between flowers during peak blooming periods. Temperature plays a role here too. Pollen becomes less viable in extreme heat, and cold weather can make it sticky and less likely to move around effectively. This is another reason why that optimal temperature range is so crucial for pepper success. Water management with peppers requires finding that perfect middle ground, not too much, not too little, but just right. Both overwatering and underwatering can shut down pepper production, though they do it through different mechanisms. Overwatering creates several problems. First, it can lead to root rot, which weakens the entire plant and redirects energy towards survival rather than reproduction. Second, consistently soggy soil often leaches nutrients, creating deficiencies even if you're fertilizing regularly. Third, too much water can actually dilute the plant's natural stress responses that trigger flowering and fruiting. Underwatering is equally problematic but more obvious. Drought-stressed pepper plants will drop flowers and small fruits to conserve energy for survival. You'll notice this as blossom end rot on developing fruits or simply flowers that form but quickly fall off without setting fruit. The secret is deep, infrequent watering that allows the soil to dry slightly between waterings. I stick my finger 2 to 3 inches into the soil. If it's dry at that depth, it's time to water. Mulching around pepper plants helps maintain consistent moisture levels and reduces the stress of fluctuating soil conditions. Here's something many gardeners don't consider. Overcrowded pepper plants often fail to produce well, even when all other conditions seem perfect. Poor air circulation creates a host of problems that indirectly affect fruit production. When pepper plants are too close together, they compete for resources, but more importantly, they create humid microclimates that encourage fungal diseases. Even minor fungal issues can stress plants enough to reduce flowering and fruit set. Additionally, overcrowded plants often struggle with uneven light distribution, leading to weak growth patterns that prioritize reaching for light over producing fruit. I've found that pepper plants need about 18 to 24 inches of space between them for optimal production. This might seem like a lot when you're planting small seedlings, but trust me, they'll use every inch of that space as they mature. Sometimes the reason your peppers aren't producing is simply that you're not giving them enough time. Different pepper varieties have vastly different maturation timelines, and many gardeners give up just before their plants hit their productive stride. Sweet peppers typically need 60 to 90 days from transplant to first harvest, while hot peppers can take 90 to 120 days or even longer for super hot varieties. If you started your plants from seed, add another 6 to 8 weeks to these timelines. That gorgeous habanero plant that's been sitting pretty in your garden for 2 months might just be getting ready to start its real show. Now that you understand the root causes behind pepper production problems, you're equipped to diagnose and fix whatever's keeping your plants from reaching their potential. Remember, successful pepper growing is about creating the right balance of conditions rather than just hoping for the best. Start by evaluating your current growing conditions against what we've discussed today. Are your temperatures in the optimal range? Is your fertilization program encouraging flowers over foliage? Are your plants getting the right amount of water and space to thrive? The beauty of gardening is that there's always next season to apply what you've learned. But with peppers, you often have time to make adjustments mid-season and still see results. These plants are more resilient and responsive than many gardeners realize. If this deep dive into pepper production has helped solve your garden mysteries, make sure to subscribe to Soilsage Chronicles for more evidence-based gardening insights that actually work in the real world. And if you've discovered other pepper production secrets in your own garden, share this article with fellow gardeners who might be struggling with the same challenges. We're all in this growing journey together.